Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 27th December 2023, brought to you by Ganesh IS Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. So mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look at it. Okay, let's move on to the analysis of every article one by one. INS IMPHAL inducted into the Navy. Its features, combat capabilities. The INS IMPHAL has been inducted into the Navy. This is what the news is about. Okay, let's move on to the further details of the news. First, we will look into how the news is related to exam. Under prelims, it is related to current events of national as well as international importance. Similarly, under mains, it is related to awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotech, and issues relating to IPR. Okay, let's move on to further explanation of the news. Say INS IMPHAL is the third of the fourth stealth guided missile destroyer of INS Visakhapatnam class, and it was commissioned into the Indian Navy recently. This ship was built under a project called Project 15B. So what does this Project 15B? We will look into it. Between 2014 to 2016, Indian Navy has commissioned 3 guided missiles destroyer of Kolkata class, which comes under Project 15A. So this Kolkata class, Visakhapatnam class are the kind of missile systems, or the kind of ship which has similar kind of capabilities in terms of tonnage, usage, and then its weaponry usages. So if a group of ships which has same kind of tonnage, usages, capabilities, and weaponaries, that group of ship comes under a particular class. This class will be named according to the different category. Like in the case here, it has been named according to the region, like Kolkata class, Visakhapatnam class, Delhi class, so on and so forth. And this Kolkata class submarine includes INS Kolkata, INS Kochi, as well as INS Chennai. And the previous version of the Kolkata class is the Delhi class, which included INS Delhi itself, as well as INS Mysore, as well as INS Mumbai, which was built under Project 15 between the period 1997 and 2001. And this Project 15B is built with advanced variant, and the group of ships have been classified under a name called the class called INS Visakhapatnam, and the second submarine, the first submarine name is INS the class name itself, that is the INS Visakhapatnam. The second submarine which comes under the Visakhapatnam class is Mormugao. Third is the IMPHAL, which has been commissioned recently, and fourth is INS Surat, which is going to get commissioned in the future period of time. And this ships was built by Mazgundak Shipbuilders Limited. And how the INS IMPHAL has been built. See, if a warship is going to be built, means it should cross 4 stages. First is the keel laying. It is the conventional ceremony where a modular component of the ship will be placed in the dock. And second is the launching of the ship. Third is the commissioning of the ship. Fourth is the decommissioning of the ships. So these are all the 4 stages of the ships. And this keel laying for this INS IMPHAL was laid in 2017, and later it was launched in 2019. Then it completed its trial both in marine as well as the harbor within 6 months itself. So this ship has completed its the sea trial as well as harbor trial at shorter period of time when compared to its previous ships. What are the capabilities does this ship carries is, these ships are 163 meters in length as well as 17.4 meter in wide, and it could able to displace 7,400 tons of weight. Similarly, its propulsion system will allow the ship to reach a maximum speed of 30 knots and a maximum range near up to 4,000 nautical miles. And these destroyers have multiple fire zones and elaborate battle damage control system. They also have atmospheric control system which offers protection from chemical, biological as well as nuclear threats. And then its combat management system can able to evaluate threats using the analytical tool and create a tactical picture that includes the available resource on the board, so that the those who are making plan in the in the navy as well as those who are implementing will know what are all the resources available with them and what are all the resources that could be employed for the threat that has been facing them. And the arsenal of the Visakhapatnam class consists of BrahMos surface to surface missile, cruise missile, and then vertically launched Barak 8 surface to air missile for long range engagement of targets. So these are all the missiles which will be carried in INS IMPHAL, that is the second ship of Visakhapatnam class. So this is what the news is, and this ship is armed with indigenously developed 533 millimeter torpedo launchers and 6 RBU 6000 anti-submarine rocket launchers to provide anti-submarine warfare capabilities. And this ship has been named after IMPHAL, which is the city in Manipur, will act as a unique tribute paying for the Manipur as well as the whole northeastern states itself. Why? Because the northeastern states have contributed more for our freedom movements, like in the case of be it the Anglo-Manipur War of 1891 or the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose hosting the INA flag for the first time on April 14, 1944 at Moirang, which is in northeast, and the Battle of IMPHAL, which was fought between British as well as Imperial Japanese force, in which Indians have participated on both sides, but that turned the tide of the Burma campaign by the Japanese forces, and which in turn decided the outcome of the Second World War. This outcome of the Second World War in turn have shaped the global order itself. So such kind of contribution have been made by the northeastern state, and this naming of ship after a city of the northeastern state will be a perfect tribute paying for the states of the northeastern part of the India. So this is what the news is about. So what are all the things which we need to be further aware of is we should be aware of what is Project 75 and what is BrahMos missile and what is the India's aircraft carrier. So these are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Russian oil import at 8-month low in October as discounts fall. OPEC share up. What is the news is what from the heading itself we could able to know that the share of Russian oil in the basket of Indian oil import has reduced significantly. Correspondingly, the share of the OPEC countries on the oil import or the basket of oil imported by India has risen up. Their share, that is OPEC share, has risen up. This is what the news is about. Okay, let's look into how the news is related to examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains it is related to GS paper 3, Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment, which comes under GS paper 3, economic and development. So this is how the news is linked with the examination. Okay, let's move on to the details of the news. The shrinking in discount has led to decline in the Russian crude oil import in October. The traditional contributor for the India's imports are the Saudi, UAE. Their share has risen in the October month because of the reduced share of the Russian oil. And why the Russian oil share has been reduced? It is because of the reduced discount they have been given for quite some time since the breakout of the Russian-Ukraine war. And the Russian share is 31.9 percentage, which is down from 34.48 percentage in September. So this is what the graph is about. We could able to see that the OPEC countries have contributed nearly 50.2 percentage of India's crude oil import, and among them Iraq, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates have contributed, these three countries have contributed nearly 44.1 percentage of the crude oil import. So this is how the data look like for the October month. India's import of crude oil is. Okay, prior to April 2022, that is the initial stages of the Russian-Ukraine war, OPEC countries accounted for nearly 71.3 percentage of oil import. In that, Iraq, Saudi as well as UAE alone have contributed for 61 percentage of oil imported by the India. And the reason for reduced discount of crude oil by a Russian company is because of the oil price volatility. Second is high and opaque shipping and insurance charges. Third is the competition from the Chinese refiners and the export duty cut by the Russia's because of the increased domestic demand in the Russian land itself, and then loose enforcement of the Western countries price cap on the Russian oil. So these are all the factors have contributed to reduced discount of the Russian crude oil. Okay, according to the Indian Express analysis on trade data, it is said that the Russian crude oil with respect to the average delivered price of the oil from Iraq, Saudi Arabia and UAE was just 5.7 percentage in October, after falling for 4 consecutive months from 22.7 percentage. So this is what the data is about. Okay, let's look into what does this OPEC is. See, it is the Permanent Intergovernmental Organization. It was created in Baghdad Conference in 1960 by Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. The countries' names are very important, which from the prelims perspective. And the OPEC's objective is to manage the supply of oil in an effort to set the price of the world market, and it is headquartered in Vienna, Austria. And then the country with substantial oil export and complying with the ideals of OPEC can become the member of it. That is, anyone can become a member of it, but they need to have substantial amount of oil export, and also at the same time they need to comply with the ideals of this organization. So this is what the news is about. What we need to study further is, we should be aware of the Russian map. Secondly, we should also be aware of this Brent crude and then WTI. These are the benchmark for the crude oil at global arena. Thirdly, we should also be aware of International Atomic Energy Agency. So these are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of. And with this, we have reached the end of this topic. Prime Minister has said India is coming out of the slavery mindset. World is respecting it. So this is what the news is. So how the news is related to examination is, under prelims it is related to history of India and Indian national movement, and under mains it is related to Indian culture, which will cover the salient aspect of art forms, literature, architecture from ancient to modern times, which comes under GS paper 1. And this speech was made by Prime Minister at Veerbal Divas. It is an event to commemorate the martyrdom of two sons of Guru Gobind Singh, who is the 10th Sikh Guru. And PM has said that India is coming out of the slavery mindset, and next 25 years is going to be crucial for youth, because more amount of opportunities is going to be provided by the policy of the government. And this is what the news is about. Okay, let's look into what does this Veerbal Divas event is about. So the Veerbal, the two Shahid Saath, the two sons of the Guru Gobind Singh was killed in 1704, and it was sparked by, the event was sparked by attack on Anandpur Sahib by the armies of Mughal and the Hill King, along with the Hill King of the present day IMPHAL Pradesh. So the day when the two sons of the Guru Gobind Singh was killed was announced in 2022 by government as the day to celebrate as the Veerbal Divas, to mark the martyrdom of the Guru Gobind Singh younger sons. And who is this Guru Gobind Singh? Guru Gobind Singh is the 10th Sikh Guru, who born at Patna, Bihar, India on December 22, 1666. The annual celebration of Guru birthday is based on the Nanak-Shahi calendar, and he became the Sikh Guru at the age of 9, following the demise of his father Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Sikh Guru. And Guru Gobind Singh is known for his significant contribution to the Sikh religion, including the introduction of turban to cover the hair. He also founded the principle of Khalsa or the 5K, and he is responsible for establishing the highest order in the Sikh community and fought against the Mughal later in the Battle of Muxar in 1705. So this is what the important details in relation to the Guru Gobind Singh is about. And what are all the things which we need to be further aware of is we should be aware of what is Jainism, what is Buddhism, what are all the principles under which it has been evolved. Secondly, we should also be aware of Bhakti movement as well as Sufi movement, and then we should also be aware of the Mughal emperor itself. So these are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of. And with this, we have reached the end of this topic. 83 JN.1 cases in India so far. Most in Gujarat, says INSACOG. That is, the number of COVID variant cases has raised to 83 in India. And most of the cases have been identified in Gujarat. This is what the news is about. Under prelims, it is related to general science. Similarly, under mains, it is related to awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotech, and issues relating to IPR. Okay, let's look into further explanation of the news. As I said, 83 cases of the JN.1 variant, which is the subvariant of COVID-19, so has been detected in India so far, with the highest 34 cases have been detected from among the 83. The 34 cases have been detected from Gujarat, and this increase in JN.1 sequences have been reported by the consortium, and which coincides with the rise in case of US as well as Singapore. And Kerala is seeing the higher number of COVID cases, and under the COVID cases, the subvariant, that is JN.1 variant, have been detected more in Gujarat. And the higher number of cases has been reported because of the ramping up of the health infrastructure, like in the case of testing as well as analyzing the data. So let's look into the JN.1 variant is about. World Health Organization has designated it as the variant of interest, and its ancestor, that is BA.2.86, is commonly referred to as Pirola, under which it has been mutated and formed a new variant. and JN.1 contains only one additional mutation. As I said, the mutation has happened in the spike protein of BA.2.86, and it has been on watch list because the mutation has happened in the spike protein. The spike protein is a gateway for the virus to enter inside the human cell. So that is the reason why it has been given more importance by the World Health Organization, so that it has been given a tag of variant of interest. Mutations on the spike, as I said, is a matter of concern which will enable the virus to enter inside the human cells. So what does this variant of interest is about? So variants that are less effectively neutralized in lab by antibodies from the infection or the vaccination will be called or be declared as variant of interest, and also at the same time they need to have the potential to get spread, and then they will also be designated as variant of interest by World Health Organization if it shows a growth advantage over the other variant that has been in circulations. That is, if it has the potential to grow in the the growth advantage is nothing but the potential to grow rapidly when compared to the other variants that has been in the surrounding. And it could also be declared variant of interest if they known to change their characteristics such as transmissibility, virulence, as well as antibody evasion, as the susceptibility to therapies and diagnostics. And then after declaring the particular variant as variant of interest, the World Health Organization will monitor and track its global spread. And this is what the JN.1 variant as well as the variant of interest is about. So what are all the areas which we need to be further aware of is we should be aware of GISAIT. What does this initiative is about? And we should also be aware of WHO, and then the COVID vaccine, most importantly the Indian made COVID vaccine. So these are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Role of IMD is going to be more critical. RIJIJU, that is Indian Meteorological Department, has been given a new logo recently by the Union Minister. This is what the news is about. The new logo has been given before the 150th year, which is going to be celebrated on 2025 by the government. That is, the IMD has formed the 2025 will be the 150th year of the IMD's inception. How the news is related to examination is, under prelims it is related to India as well as world geography. Similarly, under mains it is related to GS paper 1 under a subtopic called geophysical phenomena like earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclones, etc. Okay, let's move on to the news. So this is what the new logo is, to acknowledge the 150th year of the IMD, which is going to be celebrated in 2025, and this change of logo is the third time since its inception. And the IMD was initially formed to record the temperature as well as the air pressure of the surrounding, but after some period of time it got evolved according to the requirement of the government as well as the international agencies. Right now it is acting as one of the important director for the climate change activities. And what does this IMD is about? It is the National Meteorological Service of the country and the principal government agency in all matters relating to meteorology as well as its allied subjects. And the Director General of the Meteorology is the head of the IMD. And it has 6 regional meteorological center. Each will be manned by person under the rank of Deputy Director, with its headquarters at Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata, Nagpur as well as Guwahati. The places are very important from the prelims perspective, and it is headquarters in New Delhi, the main IMD office. And IMD comes under Ministry of Earth Science. And IMD also shares transboundary weather updates, forecasts as well as cyclone warnings, alongside offering training to the meteorological personnel of the South Asian countries. And at the same time, IMD through its meteorological as well as regional centers issues daily and then periodic weather forecast and then predictions. In addition, it will also provide tailor-made weather products which is required for agriculture, power, tourism, ports, health and several other sectors. So it is contributing for the overall growth and development of the economy itself. So this is for the important functionalities of IMD. So what are the things which we need to be further aware of is we should be aware of monsoons, its formation and climate change, and United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change. These are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Okay, let's discuss today's practice prelims question. So mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. So those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. So and with this, we have reached the end of today's session. Please do like, comment, share as well as subscribe Ganesh IAS YouTube channel so that you will be receiving the daily current affair session notification and other important session notification which will be brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Thank you.